this is our channel. We are Growing Walls. Today I'm going to tell you 5 things I wish I knew before breastfeeding. Before I start, I'd like to say that before breastfeeding, I actually knew a lot about breastfeeding because I do work in the medical field. I'm a medical resident in pediatrics. We talk to a lot of our patients and families about breastfeeding. I knew a lot of the benefits, a lot of the ways to build supply, etc. And so these are 5 things that I didn't know or didn't realize before I actually experienced it myself as a mother. Our son was born about a month ago, so I've been into this for about a month, breastfeeding. He's only had breast milk. We haven't supplemented or needed to do anything like that, and he's growing well. Growing walls. Point number 1 that I didn't know or wish I had known before breastfeeding was leaking. So I had heard about leaking. People had said that you might leak or you'll be leaking, things like that. And I kind of thought leaking as in a leaky faucet, like dripping. But what I found out is it could be spraying and soaking clothes, and the leaking can really get out of control. So that is something I wish I knew, that leaking is more, can be more than just a leaky faucet. I assumed that if I was wearing breast pads, like the absorbent ones, that I'd be fine. The breast pad would catch everything. But as I found out, I had kind of an oversupply, and so throughout the night I would go through several sets of breast pads and clothes because I would just leak everywhere. So leaking can be a big problem. Point number 2, kind of on that same topic, nursing pads. So I bought a pack of reusable nursing pads on Amazon. I thought that would be fine. I think it's a pack of like 8. I didn't think I would need any disposable pads. I did get some disposable pads. I got 2 sets that came free with my pump, and I got my pump free through insurance. I ended up using those disposable pads because I would run through all of the reusable pads so quickly. But the difference between reusable and disposable pads, that's something that I didn't know. Reusable pads, when they get wet, they feel wet on your skin a lot of times, whereas the reusable pads, I felt like they stayed dry. They felt dry even after you leaked into them. The reusable pads are thicker, so if you're wearing them in a padded bra, it's a lot of padding and your boobs are already swollen, and so if you go out in public with reusable pads on and a padded bra, it's like, okay, hi, I'm breastfeeding, obviously. Whereas the disposable ones are quite trim. And then obviously you have to keep washing the reusable ones. When they're both clean, the reusable ones actually feel a lot softer and are more comfortable, but as soon as they get wet, they're a lot less comfortable. The differences between reusable and disposable nursing pads is something that I wish I had known before breastfeeding. Point number 3, hydration. So I knew that hydration was really important while you're breastfeeding. Obviously you're losing a lot of fluid, and so you need to be drinking a lot more fluid, but what I didn't think about or realize was, even though I was drinking just as much as I was when I was pregnant, because I tried to stay very hydrated when I was pregnant as well, the amount that I was peeing was way different. So when I was pregnant, I would drink a bunch of water and pee like every hour because my bladder is being squished by my baby. Whereas when I'm breastfeeding, not only do I not have that pressure, but I also am producing a lot of milk, which is fluid essentially coming out of my body, and so I only peed like once or twice a day. So hydration is important, and peeing is a lot different. That's something I didn't know and kind of wish I knew before breastfeeding. Point number 4, nursing in public. So I, and my husband can tell you this, I had this huge fear before going out in public with the baby that I was going to be really awkward with nursing. Like, I just had this picture in my mind where we're sitting around a table with all my family, like my in-laws, and I'm like, oh, baby's hungry, and I like pop out my boob and start nursing in front of everybody. Like, maybe I have a cover, but it's still like super weird and awkward, and I was also leaking a ton. So I was really scared and had a lot of anxiety before going out in public and nursing. But the first 2 times that we went out, the first time was at church, and the second time was for like kind of a family reunion type thing. And both times it was super chill, super easy, and it felt very natural, and there was no awkwardness or problems at all. When we were at church, they had a nursery, and I went into the nursery and nursed him, and I still used my cover just because I was in a different place, and it was fine. It was great. He nursed easy, and then we went back out. And then at the family reunion, there was kind of an area that wasn't totally secluded. It was kind of over by the bathrooms, and I sat in a chair that was like kind of outside of the main where everybody was, but wasn't like completely private. So technically I was nursing in public. I used my cover, and trick that I learned was I took my diaper bag, the diaper bag that we have, and put it on my lap in front of me while I was nursing him. So not only was I using a cover, but I had the bag on my lap, and when you look, if you look through to where I was, it was kind of dark in there, so you wouldn't even be able to see. But if someone walked in there or looked in there, it would just look like I had the bag on my lap and I was sitting there. And so that was kind of a cool trick and worked out great, and I have gotten over my fear of nursing in public. So something I wish I knew before breastfeeding was nursing in public is not that big of a deal, and it's usually easier than you think it is. Point number 5, this is the last point, and it has to do with nipple confusion. So a lot of people are scared about nipple confusion, and there are also a lot of people who think it's total myth. We actually started giving baby a pacifier when he was less than a day old, trying to soothe him, and he has not had any nipple confusion. We've given him a bottle. He loves the bottle. He also loves nursing. He had 0 nipple confusion. I don't know if this is the case for every baby. Obviously, every baby is different, but something I wish I knew before breastfeeding this baby was that this baby would not have any nipple confusion, and that's not anything we need to worry about. So, in conclusion, I'm a new mom. I've been nursing for a month, and I knew a lot to begin with. There's a lot of information out there, but 5 things I didn't know and wish I had known before starting to breastfeed was: 1, leaking can be a major problem, more than you expect. 2, there's a difference between reusable and disposable nursing pads. 3, you don't pee as much. That's great, but you still have to drink a ton of water. 4, nursing in public is not as scary as you might think it is. And 5, nipple confusion wasn't a problem for us. Like this video, follow our channel. We'll see you next time.